Captain Tom Anderson stood at the bridge of the Star Runner, watching the stars streak by through the main viewport. His ship might look old and worn from the outside, but that's exactly how he liked it. The scratched paint and visible repair patches told other ships exactly what he wanted them to see. Just another struggling cargo hauler trying to make ends meet. "Captain, all systems running smooth," Mike Russell called from his engineering station. The engineer's voice carried a hint of amusement. They both knew that smooth was an understatement. Under its rough exterior, the Star Runner packed enough hidden technology to make a military vessel jealous. The bridge crew consisted of just 4 people, small for a ship this size. But that's all they needed. Beth Wilson handled navigation with the skill of someone born to the stars, while Jack Peters managed security with quiet efficiency. Together with Mike at engineering and the ship's eye assistant Max, they made up what Anderson considered the perfect crew. "Max, status report on the medical supplies," Anderson said, settling into his captain's chair. The AI's response came in a pleasantly neutral voice through the ship's speakers. "Medical supplies stable, Captain. Temperature and pressure optimal in all cargo holds. Estimated arrival at Colony 7 in 48 hours at current speed." Anderson nodded, satisfied. Colony 7 needed these supplies badly, and the Star Runner would get them there. That's what they did, helped the outer colonies that bigger ships ignored. The pay wasn't great, but it let them serve a good cause while staying away from crowded space lanes. Beth's console suddenly beeped, drawing everyone's attention. "Captain, got something weird on the long-range sensors," she said, frowning at her screen. "Energy signature I've never seen before. About 2 light hours out, moving fast." "Show me," Anderson ordered, and a holographic display sprang to life in front of him. The energy pattern looked strange, crystalline somehow, if energy could look crystalline. "Max analysis. Processing," Max replied. "Energy pattern matches no known human or allied species signatures. Searching database. Captain, this may be significant. Pattern shows similarities to theoretical models of Haelor technology." A tense silence fell over the bridge. Everyone had heard of the Haelor Empire, though few humans had ever seen them. The crystalline beings kept to their own space, viewing organic life as primitive and beneath their notice. "What would they be doing out here?" Jack asked from his security station. "This is neutral space, technically speaking." Anderson studied the sensor readings carefully. More importantly, why are they moving so fast? Max tracked their course. The AI projected a course line through the hologram. The unknown ship's path would intersect with theirs in about 6 hours if both vessels maintained their current speeds. "Should we alter course?" Beth asked, her hands hovering over the navigation controls. Anderson thought for a moment. Changing course would make them look suspicious. Maintaining course would make them look like what they pretended to be, an ignorant cargo hauler going about its business. "Stay on course," he decided. "But Mike, run a full check on all our special features." Quietly. Mike grinned. "Already on it, Captain. Everything's primed and ready, just like always." "Good man." Anderson turned to Jack. "Run battle drills in your head. If things go bad, I want options that won't give away what we really are unless we absolutely have to." "Understood," Jack replied, already running scenarios through his mind. They continued their journey, maintaining the appearance of a simple cargo run. But under the casual exterior, every crew member stayed alert. The Star Runner might look like easy prey, but appearances could be deceiving. If the Haelor were looking for trouble, they'd learn that lesson the hard way. Anderson watched the mysterious energy signature draw closer on his display. Something about this didn't feel right. The Haelor never came to this sector, and they certainly didn't send single ships. His instincts, honed by years in space, told him they were sailing into troubled waters. "Max, start recording everything," he ordered quietly. "I have a feeling this might become a very interesting day." "Recording initiated, Captain," Max replied. For what it's worth, My prediction algorithms suggest a 78% chance of hostile contact within the next 6 hours. Anderson smiled grimly. Well then, let's make sure we're ready to give them a proper welcome. The bridge of the Star Runner fell silent as the Haelor warship dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly ahead of them. It hung in space like a massive crystal sculpture, its surfaces catching and reflecting starlight in dazzling patterns. The ship was beautiful in a cold, dangerous way, like an icicle shaped into a dagger. Well, Anderson said calmly, I guess Max's prediction was right. He straightened in his captain's chair, maintaining an outward appearance of mild concern rather than battle readiness. Open communications, standard frequencies. Before they could transmit, the Haelor ship fired a burst of energy that washed over the Star Runner's hull. Beth's console lit up with warnings. Scan beam, she reported. They're checking our capabilities. Let them see exactly what we want them to see. Anderson ordered quietly. The crew understood. Their ship's true defensive and offensive capabilities remained hidden beneath layers of electronic camouflage. The main screen flickered to life, revealing their first look at a Haelor. The alien commander appeared to be made of living crystal, with faceted features that shifted and sparkled as he moved. His voice came through the translator, as cold and precise. Primitive organic vessel, this is Lord Bright Crystal of the Haelor Empire. Your presence offends us. Prepare to be eliminated. Anderson raised an eyebrow at the blunt hostility. This is Captain Anderson of the independent cargo vessel Star Runner. We're in neutral space conducting legal business. There's no cause for conflict here. The crystalline being made a sound like tinkling glass, apparently a laugh. Cause? We need no cause, organic. Your ship's existence is cause enough. Your outdated technology and biological inefficiency pollute space itself. The Haelor Empire has decided to begin cleansing this sector. Mike muttered under his breath at his engineering station. Outdated technology. I'll show you outdated. Jack silenced him with a quick gesture. Anderson tried one more time for peace. Lord Bright Crystal, I must point out that attacking ships in neutral space is against galactic law. We carry medical supplies for civilian colonies. Destroying us would be an act of war. Laws. The Haelor commander's crystalline features sparkled with contempt. Your organic laws mean nothing to us. Our scans show your vessel is harmless. You have no weapons, minimal shielding. This will be a simple cleansing. Final warning, Anderson said firmly. Withdraw now, or we will defend ourselves. With what? You're primitive. Wait. Lord Bright Crystal leaned forward, his faceted eyes glinting. Our scans detect an energy spike in your vessel. Explain. Anderson smiled slightly. Just our engines running a bit hot. Old ships, you know how it is. Well, maybe you don't. The Haelor commander's crystalline surface flickered with color, apparently a sign of anger. You dare mock us. We are the Haelor. We have mastered the very structure of space. Our technology is perfection itself. Fascinating, Anderson replied. And yet here you are, picking fights with cargo ships. Must be a slow day in the Empire. Enough. Lord Bright Crystal's entire form blazed with light. Your insolence ends now. All weapons, fire. Reduce this organic waste to atoms. The Haelor ship's weapon ports began to glow with gathering energy. On the Star Runner's bridge, Anderson simply nodded to his crew. They had given peace every chance. Max, he said quietly, combat mode. Combat mode engaged, Captain, the AI responded. Dropping civilian transponder. True shields online. Weapons grid activating. The last thing they saw before the shooting started was Lord Bright Crystal's expression of confusion as his sensors suddenly showed a very different ship than the harmless cargo hauler he'd been threatening. You know, Anderson said to his crew as they prepared for battle, I'm starting to think the Haelor Empire needs a lesson in manners. Beth grinned from her station. Teaching time. Anderson nodded. Teaching time. Let's show them why it's a bad idea to judge a book by its cover, or a human ship by its paint job. The Haelor warship fired its first volley, streams of crystalline energy lancing out across space toward the Star Runner. Lord Bright Crystal watched with satisfaction, expecting to see the human vessel shatter into debris. Instead, his bridge crew fell silent as the energy beams hit what appeared to be empty space 3 meters from the cargo ship's hull. Inside the Star Runner, Anderson and his crew felt only a slight vibration as their true shields absorbed the attack. The hidden defense grid, powered by humanity's latest advancements in energy manipulation, didn't just block the Haelor weapons, it learned from them. Shield analysis complete, Max announced. Haelor weapons operating on crystalline resonance principles. Adapting countermeasures now. Mike's fingers danced across his engineering console. Captain, you should see their energy readings. Their weapons are powerful, but they're completely inflexible. They can't adapt to changing conditions. Anderson nodded. Like their attitudes. Max, show me their weak points. A detailed scan of the Haelor vessel appeared on the main screen, key structural points highlighted in red. The crystalline nature of their technology meant their ships were incredibly strong, but also brittle if hit in exactly the right places. Lord Bright Crystal is hailing us again, Jack reported from his security station, trying not to smile. On screen, Anderson ordered. Let's see how he likes the first surprise of his day. The Haelor commander's crystalline face appeared, his features shifting in what seemed to be confusion and anger. Impossible. Our scans showed no defensive capabilities. What trickery is this? No trickery, Anderson replied calmly. Just a reminder that appearances can be deceiving. Would you like to reconsider your attack? Deploy the second weapon array. Lord Bright Crystal ordered his crew. Maximum power. These primitives cannot possibly. His image vanished as another barrage of energy weapons struck the Star Runner's shields. This time, the crew didn't even feel a vibration. Shields holding at 98%, Beth reported. Their weapons are actually getting weaker against us. Max's adaptations are working perfectly. Anderson leaned forward in his chair. I think it's time we showed them our own capabilities. Mike, power up the pulse cannons. The small ones first. Let's not ruin their whole day just yet. With pleasure, Captain. Mike's grin was evident in his voice. Pulse cannons charged. These should give their crystalline hull something to think about. Target their secondary weapon arrays only, Anderson ordered. Jack, make sure our targeting is precise. We want to disable, not destroy. Targeted and locked, Jack confirmed. Ready on your order. Anderson took a deep breath. This would be humanity's first real combat encounter with the Haelor Empire. What happened next would set the tone for all future interactions. Fire. The Star Runner's hidden weapon ports opened, revealing sleek pulse cannons that looked far too advanced for a simple cargo vessel. They fired in perfect sequence, each shot hitting its target with surgical precision. The Haelor ship's secondary weapon arrays shattered like glass, crystalline debris spinning off into space. On the main screen, they could see panic breaking out on the Haelor bridge. Lord Bright Crystal was shouting orders, his crew rushing to respond as their supposedly perfect technology failed them. Their power grid is fluctuating, Mike reported. The crystalline structure of their ship doesn't handle localized damage well. The effects are cascading through their systems. Hull integrity failing in multiple sections, Max added. Detecting emergency containment fields activating throughout their vessel. Anderson watched the Haelor ship's movements become erratic. Send them a message on all frequencies. Do you require assistance with repairs? Beth turned in her chair. You're offering to help them. After they tried to destroy us. Of course, Anderson smiled. We're still a medical supply ship after all, and I think they're about to need some emergency care. The Haelor ship hung in space, its once perfect crystalline surface now cracked and dulled. Their fatal error hadn't been just attacking the human ship, It had been assuming that humanity's appearances matched their reality. The Haelor ship's once perfect crystal surface now showed a web of cracks, its mighty weapons silent and powerless. Lord Bright Crystal stared at his command display in disbelief as system after system reported failures. Nothing in his centuries of experience had prepared him for this humiliation. Status report. Anderson called out on the Star Runner's bridge, his voice calm despite the tension of battle. Their main power grid is destabilizing, Mike reported from engineering. Those precise hits we landed are causing chain reactions through their crystalline structure. It's like watching a crack spread through ice. Beth studied her navigation displays intently. Captain, they're trying to maneuver. Looks like they want to bring their undamaged weapons to bear. Not happening, Anderson said firmly. Beth, show them what this ship can really do. Keep us in their blind spot. Beth's hands moved across her controls with practiced skill. The Star Runner, despite its size, danced through space like a fighter craft. The Haelor vessel's attempts to track them became increasingly desperate as Beth anticipated and countered each of their moves. This is impossible. Lord Bright Crystal's voice crackled through their comm system. No cargo ship can move like that. No organic pilot can outmaneuver a Haelor tactical computer. Want to bet? Beth muttered as she sent the Star Runner into another perfect evasive pattern. Anderson allowed himself a small smile. Max, what's the status of their tactical computers? Analyzing now, Captain, the AI responded. Their computing systems are highly advanced but rigid. They're running on crystalline processors that can't adapt to unexpected situations. Beth's random maneuver patterns are causing their targeting systems to crash and restart repeatedly. Jack spoke up from his security station. Captain, I'm detecting power buildups in their forward sections. They might be trying to jump to faster than light speed. Oh no. They don't, Anderson said. Mike, deploy the gravity anchors. Let's keep our new friends here for a chat. Hidden panels along the Star Runner's hull slid open, revealing devices that looked more appropriate on a military vessel than a cargo ship. They activated with a pulse of energy, creating a localized distortion in space that would prevent any faster-than-light travel. Gravity anchors active, Mike confirmed. They're not going anywhere. The Haelor ship's engines flared as they tried to break free, but the effort only caused more stress to their damaged systems. New cracks appeared along their hull as the crystalline structure struggled to handle the strain. Their power core is becoming unstable, Max warned. At this rate, they risk a catastrophic overload. Anderson keyed the comm system. Lord Bright Crystal, this is Captain Anderson. Power down your engines immediately. Your ship's structural integrity can't handle the stress. Allow us to help before you lose containment. Accept help from primitives. The Haelor commander's voice was strained. Never. We would rather. A loud cracking sound interrupted his transmission. On their view screen, the crew watched as a large fissure opened along the Haelor ship's main power section. Power core containment failing, Max reported. Explosion imminent. Estimated blast radius will destroy both vessels. Anderson sat forward in his chair. Max, extend our shields around their ship. Mike, prepare emergency power transfer. Beth, bring us alongside. Jack, ready the emergency tractor beams. The Star Runner moved smoothly into position, its advanced shields expanding to encompass the failing Haelor vessel. Energy beams lanced out, not weapons this time but emergency power transfers, stabilizing the alien ship's failing systems. Their power core is stabilizing, Mike reported after a tense minute. We've got them. Anderson opened a channel to the Haelor ship. Lord Bright Crystal, your ship is secure for now. We can begin emergency repairs once you power down your remaining systems. Do you accept our assistance? There was a long pause before the response came, the Haelor commander's voice much subdued. We accept your assistance, Captain Anderson. Good choice, Anderson replied. Now, while my crew helps stabilize your ship, perhaps we should discuss why assuming things about human technology is a dangerous mistake. The peaceful moment after the crisis didn't last long. Space around the two ships suddenly lit up with multiple flashes as three more Haelor warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Their crystalline hulls gleamed menacingly in the starlight, weapons already charging. "Well," Anderson said dryly, "looks like Lord Bright Crystal called for backup before our little disagreement." "4 ships against 1, Jack commented from his security station. "Hardly seems fair." He paused. "For them." The lead Haelor ship broadcast on all frequencies. "This is High Commander Sharp Edge. Release our vessel immediately. Your destruction is now certain, primitive ones." Anderson sighed. "Max, are they scanning us?" "Affirmative, Captain. Their scans are more thorough than Lord Bright Crystal's initial sweep. They will detect our true capabilities in approximately 30 seconds. Let them see," Anderson decided. "Mike, power up all systems. No more hiding. Beth, combat spread formation. Jack, ready all weapons, but hold fire unless I give the word." The Star Runner's exterior began to change. Panels that had appeared to be simple hull plating shifted and transformed. The supposedly primitive cargo ship revealed its true nature, a cutting-edge human defense vessel disguised as a humble merchant ship. "High Commander," Anderson broadcast, "I suggest you scan your companion's ship first. See what happened when they chose violence over dialogue. We'd prefer not to repeat that lesson." There was a long pause as the Haelor ships processed their scans. The damaged state of Lord Bright Crystal's vessel told a clear story, as did the now revealed capabilities of the Star Runner. "Impossible." High Commander Sharp Edge's voice crackled with static. "These readings cannot be correct. Organic technology cannot be this advanced." "Actually," Mike cut in cheerfully after Anderson nodded permission, "this isn't even our newest stuff. This ship's a bit outdated by current human military standards. We just keep her around for special occasions." The revelation hit the Haelor commanders like a physical blow. If this was outdated human technology, what were their current military vessels capable of? "Captain," Max reported, "I'm detecting power spikes in all 3 Haelor vessels. They appear to be coordinating their weapon systems." Anderson straightened in his chair. "So be it. Jack, deploy the resonance disruptors. Let's show them why fighting us is a bad idea." Small devices launched from the Star Runner, taking up positions around the Haelor ships. Before the alien vessels could fire, the devices activated, sending out precise energy pulses that traveled through the crystalline hulls of the Haelor ships. The effect was immediate. The beautiful, perfect crystal structures that made up their ships began to vibrate discordantly. Weapon ports sealed themselves shut as the ship's automated systems tried to prevent catastrophic harmonics from tearing them apart. "Their weapons are offline," Jack reported with satisfaction. "The resonance disruptors are working perfectly. Their crystalline technology is basically useless while these are active." Anderson opened a channel to all ships. "High Commander, your weapons are temporarily disabled. We could destroy your ships right now, but that's not our way. Instead, I offer you a chance to learn something about humanity." What could we possibly learn from primitives? Sharp Edge's voice had lost some of its edge. First, that appearances can be deceiving. Second, that humans value life, even the lives of those who attack us. And third, Anderson smiled, that maybe it's time for the Haelor Empire to update its database on human technological capabilities. Beth turned in her chair. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions between their ships. They're asking their central command for new first contact protocols. They're classifying us as a superior technological civilization." "Superior?" Anderson shook his head. "No, different. Maybe now they'll understand that crystal isn't always better than carbon, and that being organic doesn't make us primitive." The bridge crew watched as the Haelor ships hung powerless in space, their perfect crystalline technology rendered useless by human ingenuity. It was a moment that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The next few hours aboard the Star Runner were busy as Anderson's crew helped the Haelor ships with emergency repairs. The sight of human engineering teams working alongside crystalline beings to fix advanced alien technology would have been unthinkable just a day ago. Mike stood in the engine room of Lord Bright Crystal's ship, examining the damaged power core with genuine interest. "You know," he said to his Haelor counterpart, an engineer named Clear Song, "your crystalline technology is actually quite brilliant. It's just too perfect, if you know what I mean." Clear Song's faceted features shifted in confusion. Too perfect? How can perfection be a flaw? Because the universe isn't perfect, Mike explained, pointing to the crack patterns. Sometimes you need systems that can bend instead of breaking. That's why we humans build flexibility into everything we make. On the bridge of the Star Runner, Anderson was having a similar conversation with the Haelor commanders. High Commander Sharp Edge had finally agreed to come aboard for direct talks, though he still seemed uncomfortable being surrounded by organic technology. "Your species confuses us, Captain Anderson," Sharp Edge admitted. "You hide your true capabilities. You show mercy to enemies. You offer help to those who moments ago tried to destroy you. These are not logical actions." "Actually," Anderson replied, "they're perfectly logical. We hide our capabilities because looking harmless keeps us safer than looking dangerous. We show mercy because every enemy is a potential friend. And we help others because someday we might need help ourselves." Beth's console suddenly lit up with new alerts. "Captain, multiple ships dropping out of FTL. Human signatures. It's the 4th response fleet." 6 human warships appeared in formation around them, their designs clearly military but somehow less intimidating than the crystalline Haelor vessels. Admiral White's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Anderson," she said with a hint of amusement, "I see you've been making new friends. We picked up your distress beacon, but it seems you have things well in hand." "Just a small misunderstanding with our Haelor neighbors," Anderson replied casually. "Actually, Admiral, your timing is perfect. High Commander Sharp Edge and I were just discussing the possibility of opening formal diplomatic channels." The Haelor commander's crystalline form sparkled with surprised colors. "You would still consider diplomacy after we attacked without provocation?" Admiral White joined the conversation. "Of course. Humanity has learned through long experience that making peace is better than holding grudges. Besides," she smiled, "any species capable of admitting its mistakes is worth talking to." Lord Bright Crystal, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. Perhaps we have been too rigid in our thinking. Like our technology, we refuse to adapt, to consider new possibilities." "That's a good start," Anderson nodded. "Max, would you share our medical supply manifest with the Haelor ships? I believe some of our cargo might help speed their repairs." "Sharing data now, Captain," Max responded. "I've taken the liberty of translating all technical specifications into Haelor standard format." The Haelor commanders examined the manifest, their crystalline features showing surprise again. "These supplies," Sharp Edge said slowly, "they would work on our ships. We designed them to be universal," Anderson explained. "Part of being a good cargo hauler is being prepared to help anyone in need, regardless of their origin or technology. A cargo hauler that is also a warship, carrying weapons that could destroy us alongside medicines that could heal us." Lord Bright Crystal's voice held a new respect. "Truly, we have much to learn from humanity." Anderson looked around his bridge, at his crew working seamlessly with their new Haelor counterparts, at the mix of organic and crystalline technology finding ways to work together. "I think," he said quietly, "we all have much to learn from each other." The message was clear. Humanity's strength lay not in its hidden weapons or advanced shields, but in its ability to turn enemies into allies and conflicts into opportunities for growth. 3 months after the encounter between the Star Runner and the Haelor ships, Captain Anderson stood at attention in the Grand Assembly Hall of the Human Space Command. The room was packed with both human and Haelor representatives, their contrasting organic and crystalline forms creating an unusual but somehow fitting sight. "Captain Thomas Anderson," Admiral White announced, her voice carrying through the hall. "Step forward." Anderson approached the center of the hall, where a simple wooden podium stood next to an elegant crystalline structure. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone present. For exceptional service, diplomatic insight, and actions that have opened new paths of cooperation between humanity and the Haelor Empire, we present you and your crew with the Star of Unity. The Admiral placed a medal around his neck, one made of both metal and crystal, a joint creation of human and Haelor craftsmen. High Commander Sharp Edge stepped forward, his crystalline form now bearing marks of repair that he wore proudly as reminders of the lesson learned. The Haelor Empire acknowledges its error in judgment and celebrates the wisdom gained from it. Captain Anderson and the Star Runner showed us that true strength lies not in rigid perfection, but in adaptation and mercy. In the audience, Mike nudged Beth and whispered, "Did you ever think we'd see a Haelor admit they were wrong about anything?" Beth grinned. "First time for everything. Though I hear their new ships are actually pretty interesting. They're experimenting with flexible crystal matrices based on our shield designs." Jack leaned in from Beth's other side. "And we're learning from them too. Those crystalline sensor arrays they shared with us are amazing, once you add some human adaptability to them." Admiral White continued speaking. "The Star Runner incident, as it's now known, has become required study at both our Space Academy and the Haelor Fleet Command. It stands as a perfect example of how appearance and reality can differ, and how wisdom often means looking deeper than the surface." Anderson listened as the Admiral described how the incident had changed things. The Haelor Empire had completely revised its first contact protocols. Their ships now approached unknown vessels with respect rather than arrogance. Several joint human-Haelor research projects had begun, combining the best aspects of both civilizations' technologies. Later, at the reception, Anderson found himself speaking with Lord Bright Crystal, whose ship had been fully repaired and upgraded with some human innovations. "You know," the Haelor commander said, his voice having lost its former arrogance, "we found something interesting when we studied the battle recordings. Your ship could have destroyed mine in the first exchange. You deliberately chose less damaging attacks." Anderson nodded. "The best victory is the one that leaves room for friendship afterward." A very human philosophy. Bright Crystal's crystalline features shifted, and what Anderson had learned was a smile. "Our philosophers are still debating whether our pursuit of perfection had actually made us imperfect by removing our ability to grow and change." Max's voice came through Anderson's communicator. "Captain, the Star Runner's refit is complete. The new hybrid systems are operating at 110% efficiency." "Perfect timing," Anderson replied. He turned to Bright Crystal. "Care to see the improvements? We're testing a new crystal organic computer core that Max is particularly excited about." As they walked toward the docking bay, they passed a group of young human and Haelor officers studying together. One of the humans was explaining the concept of redundant systems to his crystalline counterparts, while a Haelor taught the humans about resonance harmonics in crystal structures. "You know what the best part is," Anderson said, watching the young officers. "Those kids won't grow up thinking any species or technology is inherently superior. They'll learn to see the value in different approaches." "Indeed," Bright Crystal agreed. "Though I must admit, I'm still amazed that a simple cargo ship changed the course of an empire." Anderson smiled. "Who says we're a simple cargo ship? We're exactly what we need to be, when we need to be it. That's the real secret of humanity's success." The Star Runner waited in its dock, its hull now bearing both traditional human markings and elegant Haelor crystal inlays. It stood as a symbol of how two very different civilizations could come together and create something greater than the sum of its parts.